Imagine a world where a single man holds the power to decide life and death on a whim, where cruelty becomes a sport and madness reigns supreme. What if I told you that such a ruler once walked the earth, turning the greatest empire in history into a theater of horror? His name was Caligula, and in just 4 short years, he carved his name into history as one of the most terrifying emperors Rome ever knew. From bizarre acts of excess to chilling displays of violence, his story is a dark chapter that still haunts us 2,000 years later. So, who was this man before he became a monster? What drove him to such extremes? Buckle up as we dive into the twisted tale of Caligula, a ruler whose name became synonymous with cruelty and chaos. Let's start at the beginning. Long before the world knew him as a tyrant, Caligula wasn't born a villain. He came into this world on August 31st in the year 12 AD, in a small Roman town called Antium. His birth name was Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus, and he hailed from a family of legends. His father, Germanicus, was a celebrated general and the grandson of Mark Antony, while his mother, Agrippina the Elder, was the granddaughter of Augustus, Rome's first emperor. From the moment he was born, Caligula carried the weight of a powerful legacy. The Roman people saw him as a future star before he could even walk or talk. Germanicus was a hero to the army and the citizens alike, often viewed as the true heir to Emperor Tiberius. As a toddler, Caligula joined his father on military campaigns, dressed in a tiny soldier's uniform complete with little boots called Caligula. The soldiers loved the sight of this child marching with them, and they nicknamed him Caligula, meaning little boots. He became a mascot of sorts, a symbol of hope in Rome's future, smiling in parades alongside his father and even delivering a speech to the troops at the tender age of 6. But this picture-perfect life didn't last. Tragedy struck when Caligula was just 7 years old. In the year 19 AD, Germanicus fell ill during a trip to the eastern provinces and died in Antioch. Rumors swirled that he had been poisoned, with many pointing fingers at Emperor Tiberius, who may have feared Germanicus's growing popularity. Whether true or not, the loss shattered Caligula's world. He watched as his father's ashes were carried back to Rome in a somber procession, walking behind the coffin with his mother and siblings through mourning crowds. After Germanicus's death, the family became a target. Agrippina was fierce and ambitious, pushing her sons toward power, which made her a threat in Tiberius' eyes. He forbade her from remarrying and kept her under close watch. By the year 29 AD, Agrippina and Caligula's older brother Nero were arrested for treason, largely due to the schemes of Sejanus, the ruthless head of the emperor's Praetorian Guard. They were exiled, and a year later, another brother, Drusus, was also branded an enemy of the state and removed. None of them would return. Agrippina died in exile, and Caligula's brothers met grim fates as well. Now alone, Caligula was sent to live with his great-grandmother Livia, and later with his grandmother Antonia. He was just a boy, torn from his family and surrounded by danger. By the year 31 AD, he was summoned to the island of Capri, where the aging and paranoid Tiberius had retreated. Capri was a place of luxury, but also of fear. Tiberius ruled from afar, steeped in whispers of cruelty and corruption. Caligula learned to survive by blending into the shadows. He smiled when the emperor smiled, stayed silent when others suffered, and kept his true thoughts hidden. He witnessed Tiberius order executions and extract forced confessions, feeding his paranoia. Some historians believe this environment planted the seeds of Caligula's later madness, while others argue he was simply learning to navigate a world without mercy. On Capri, he lived like a prince, but walked a tightrope of fear, knowing what had happened to his family. He had no friends, no safety, only patience, a trait that would soon serve him well. In the year 33 AD, Tiberius' adopted son and Caligula's cousin, Drusus, died in captivity after being accused of treason, leaving a gap in the line of succession. Caligula and another cousin, Gemellus, became the likely heirs. 2 years later, Tiberius named them joint successors, but Caligula had an edge: the support of the Praetorian Guard. After Sejanus fell from favor and was executed, a new commander named Macro backed Caligula, working behind the scenes to secure his rise. In March of 37 AD, Tiberius died. Some whisper that Caligula smothered him, while others believe old age took him. Regardless, Macro moved fast. He ensured the Praetorian Guard proclaimed Caligula emperor. The Senate approved, and the people of Rome, remembering Germanicus, cheered for their new leader. At just 24 years old, Caligula stood at the helm of the world's greatest empire, having survived betrayal and terror. The crowd saw a young, charismatic ruler, the son of a hero, and believed the dark days of Tiberius were over. They couldn't have been more wrong. At first, Caligula seemed like the savior Rome needed. In his early months as emperor, he won hearts by abolishing unpopular taxes, bringing back exiles, and freeing political prisoners. He restored public monuments, paid bonuses to soldiers, and hosted grand games that filled the streets with celebration. He even poured his personal wealth into the city, showering the people with generosity. The Senate embraced him, and for a brief moment, it felt like a new golden age had begun. But that light dimmed faster than anyone expected. A few months into his reign, Caligula fell gravely ill with a high fever. When he recovered, something had changed. The charming young ruler was gone, replaced by someone darker. Some blamed poison, others thought the illness damaged his mind, but whatever the cause, the man who emerged was different. Post-illness, Caligula began to see himself not as a mere emperor but as a living god. He dressed as Jupiter, the king of Roman gods, wearing golden beards and carrying thunderbolts. He stood beside statues of Jupiter, asking guests who looked more powerful, him or the god. Hesitation meant punishment. He built a temple in his honor right next to his palace, featuring a life-sized golden statue of himself, dressed daily in the same clothes he wore. Wealthy Romans competed to serve as priests in this temple, sacrificing exotic animals like flamingos and peacocks to their living god. Caligula claimed to converse with deities, saying the moon goddess loved him and that he spoke to the ocean at night. He stood on balconies, talking to the sky, and asked guards if they could see divine beings beside him. One clever guard replied that only gods could see other gods, earning Caligula's favor and a high position. His laws became as erratic as his behavior. Laughter near him was banned, treated as a crime. After the death of his beloved sister Drusilla, he enforced a national mourning period where no one could bathe, party, or even eat with family. Violators faced execution. He outlawed mentioning goats in his presence, likely due to insecurities about his hairy body. As he began losing hair, a family trait, he made it illegal for anyone to look down at him from a higher place, forcing people to lower their heads or step off stairs as he passed. He practiced intimidating expressions in mirrors, ordering guards to mimic him. Senators were humiliated, forced to run beside his chariot or fight in mock battles for amusement. His goal wasn't just to rule, it was to dominate, to break the spirit of anyone who dared stand tall before him. Caligula's excesses knew no bounds. He bathed in gold, drank pearls dissolved in vinegar, and walked barefoot on carpets of jewels. He slept on floors covered in coins, and built floating palaces on massive ships adorned with mosaics, marble columns, and heated baths. At banquets, he served in edible golden dishes while jeweled birds flew overhead. Everything he touched screamed wealth, designed to dazzle and assert his supremacy. In his first year alone, he spent nearly $2,700 million, draining Rome's treasury on games, festivals, temples, and personal projects. One infamous endeavor was a bridge of ships across the Bay of Baiae, stretching over 3 kilometers. He rode across it on horseback, clad in Alexander the Great's armor, just to prove he could command the sea. It had no practical purpose, yet the empire footed the bill. When funds ran low, Caligula didn't cut back. Instead, he imposed bizarre and harsh taxes. He charged a 2.5% fee on every lawsuit, taxed groceries, wages of workers, and even prostitutes, past and present. He taxed marriages and replaced tax collectors with soldiers from the Praetorian Guard, who often took more than owed. Complaints led to punishment. He also turned to outright theft, accusing the wealthy of treason to seize their property after executing them. He forged documents and altered wills to claim estates. If someone died without leaving him enough in their will, he declared them ungrateful and took everything. Families lost fortunes overnight, and some took their own lives to avoid his wrath. He even demanded that loyal citizens include him in their wills, sending guards to enforce his deserved inheritances. Among his extravagant projects were the Nemi ships, 2 enormous floating palaces on Lake Nemi, each over 60 meters long. They boasted marble floors, running water, heated rooms, and golden statues with sails of colored silk. Built for parties, not travel, they were funded by taxes and stolen wealth. He also carved tunnels through mountains, built roads over rivers, and flattened hills just to reshape the world at his whim. Craftsmen rebuilt walls for no reason, and engineers were tasked with impossible designs. His appetite for the absurd grew, and so did the costs. But nothing matched his obsession with his horse, Incitatus, a white stallion whose name meant swift. Caligula treated Incitatus like royalty, giving him a marble stable, an ivory manger, and a collar of precious stones. The horse slept under purple blankets, a color reserved for emperors, and had a house with servants and slaves. Before races, Caligula ordered silence in the area to ensure Incitatus rested, with soldiers guarding the streets. He fed the horse oats mixed with gold flakes and toasted its health with wine in golden cups. At banquets, Incitatus dined alongside nobles, treated as an advisor. Caligula even joked that the horse understood politics better than senators. Then came the ultimate shock. He announced Incitatus would become a consul, one of Rome's highest offices, traditionally held by the most experienced leaders. He claimed the horse was more loyal and wise than the Senate, ordering preparations for its appointment. Senators were forced to applaud and bow to the animal, a humiliating display of Caligula's contempt for their authority. Whether Incitatus officially became consul or not, the message was clear. Yet his cruelty went far beyond mockery. Caligula reveled in reminding everyone he could kill at will. He openly declared it, even at private dinners, believing the power to end life without reason defined true dominance. His famous words, "Let them hate me, so long as they fear me," guided his reign. He didn't want love, he wanted terror. Executions needed no trial or evidence. A wrong look or tone could seal one's fate. A senator died for having better hair, another for seeming too happy. Deaths became spectacles. At banquets, he ordered executions mid-meal, watching blood spill as guests ate, smiling as if suffering enhanced the flavor. He once invited a man to dinner after executing his son that day, observing whether grief or fear would show. In the gladiator arena, he forced nobles and senators to fight, untrained and doomed, for public amusement. He chose brutal methods, like exposing crowds to scorching sun by removing awnings, testing their endurance. Once, he ordered hundreds executed for booing a fight. Life was a game to him, death a toy he wielded at will. But fear has its limits. The terror, humiliation, and pain he inflicted eventually turned allies into enemies. In the year 41 AD, after only 4 years of rule, the god Caligula was stabbed to death in a dark corridor by his own Praetorian guards. Was he broken by childhood trauma? Did madness claim him? Or did power corrupt his soul? Whatever the reason, history doesn't remember him as a visionary or deity, but as a symbol of boundless cruelty. And so, Caligula remains etched in time as one of Rome's most ruthless emperors, a name that still echoes with dread.